If you caught our last video, then you already know the big news. A Czech investment group just bought out some of the most iconic American ammo brands: Federal, Remington, CCI, and Speer. That's right, a handful of the most trusted names in American shooting sports are now being managed from boardrooms in Prague instead of from stateside factories. So that raises the obvious question for those of us who still believe in buying American. Where do we turn if we want to keep our ammunition red, white, and blue? The answer is straightforward. We support companies that are still engineering, loading, and shipping ammunition right here on U.S. soil. In this video, we're putting the spotlight on 4 domestic manufacturers that are not just keeping the lights on, but pushing production to the next level. These outfits are investing in local jobs, building better ammo, and proving that you don't need a European holding company to feed America's hunters, match shooters, and professionals. We'll take a close look at a precision outfit, loading long-range rounds with Lapua brass and Burger bullets, a manufacturer that turned a Cold War-era bomber facility into a full-service ammo plant. Another operation slashing logistical overhead to get quality rounds into restrictive states at competitive pricing, and even a rifle builder that just stepped into the 5.56 NATO market with full force. The American ammunition industry isn't on life support. It's gearing up for round 2. Let's back up about that Czech takeover. When the acquisition closed, ownership of Federal, Remington, CCI, Speer, and an entire vault of Alliant powder recipes moved into the hands of foreign executives, folks more likely to sip espresso in a European cafe than pull a trigger at the local range. Some of us immediately raised eyebrows, concerned that decisions made overseas might impact whether or not we can even get a box of .22 long rifle for sighting in our rimfires this fall. Others figured maybe it's business as usual, but instead of waiting around for import delays and out-of-stock notices to confirm our suspicions, we decided to track down who's still keeping the American ammunition spirit alive. And the best solution to overseas control has always been local production. And fortunately, we've got some strong players leading that charge. Capstone Precision Group. First up, we've got Capstone Precision Group. Now, if the name doesn't instantly ring a bell, the brands under its roof absolutely should. Burger bullets have been dominating bench rest competitions for years. That trademark blue Lapua brass box, a must-have for serious reloaders. And if you've ever used Vitavori powder, you know it's known for top-shelf consistency that reloaders around the globe swear by. What's changed? Capstone brought all those elite components under one roof and started loading full on precision ammo, in-house ammo, that used to take a seasoned handloader hours to dial in. They're launching with heavy hitters like 300 Norma Magnum, pushing 245 grain, hybrid target bullets, and 338 Norma Magnum loaded with 300 grain, open-tip match projectiles. These aren't just flashy specs for show. They're built to the exact standards used by U.S. Special Operations Forces. Each load uses matched lots of Vitavori powder, maintaining single-digit velocity deviation in any weather. From long range, they scale things down to high-performance service rifle loads in 223 Remington. There's a 73 grain boat tail, round optimized for older 1 in 9 twist barrels, and a 77 grain open tip for faster twist rate platforms. Showing up to a DCM or high power match with factory ammo, built like a handload complete with Lapua brass and match grade bullets, is a massive win for shooters who don't have time or space for a reloading setup, especially now when primers are still tough to come by. Consistency straight off the shelf is gold. Capstone's also stepped into the big game world with their hybrid ogive technology, offering 4 different .30 caliber hunting rounds. 2 of those are built for the time-tested .30-06 Springfield, and 2 are dialed for the 300 Winchester Short Magnum. The top-end load features a 205 grain hammer, made to drop bull elk or mature whitetails with authority. Even better, the cartridges are seated for magazine length compatibility, so there's no guesswork about whether they'll chamber smoothly in a hunting rifle. For your average hunter who doesn't want to buy 4 sets of dies just to chase sub-MOA groups, this is the kind of ammo that delivers premium performance without extra hassle. Capstone isn't just plugging a hole, they're setting a new bar. And the more they produce, the more competitive pressure they apply to foreign suppliers. First Breach. Next up is First Breach, a fresh name in the ammo game, but one that's coming in with serious momentum. While Capstone is all about fine-tuned match loads, First Breach is tackling the logistics angle, rebuilding a Cold War relic into a full-scale, vertically integrated ammunition plant. Founders Jeffrey Lowe and his son Jordan could have started anywhere, but they picked a 65-acre decommissioned aircraft plant in Hagerstown, Maryland, a facility that once helped build the legendary A-10 Warthog. Out came the old aerospace gear, and in went modern smelters, cup presses, and swaging lines. They melt lead, pour it into wire, and form bullets on site, just steps away from where brass casings get their final cut. This kind of closed-loop production cuts weeks off the normal supply chain. Even their velocity test range is tucked inside a Cold War bunker designed to withstand nuclear impact. Right now, First Breach is focused on the basics: 55 and 62 grain loads in 2.23 Remington and 5.56 NATO, and 115 and 124 grain options in 9mm Parabellum. Coming soon, 308 Winchester and 7.62 2x39. But here's the real kicker: they've secured federal approval to manufacture their own primers. Once that production line flips on, they'll be one of only 2 private companies in America with full vertical integration from primer to projectile. That's a big deal, especially with primers still being the most fragile link in the ammo supply world. Jordan Lowe, who served with the Golani Brigade under the Green Berets, made it clear he's done depending on outside suppliers for mission-critical parts. That mindset has already caught the eye of law enforcement agencies, some of which are switching to First Breach after watching their rounds run flawlessly through full training cycles. They've got around 25 employees right now, but with more machines coming online, that number should double by next summer. Sure, they're not a mega producer just yet, but every primer press, every turret head, and every die they bring in adds another American-made link to the chain, one that no overseas boardroom can break. Freedom Munitions. Let's head out to the Pacific Northwest, specifically Lewiston, Idaho, a town where shooting sports are more than a hobby. They're part of the culture. This is where the scent of spent primers still drifts from the old CCI and Speer buildings. And right in the middle of that scene sits Freedom Munitions. For years, they operated in 2 states. Bullets rolled out of Carson City, Nevada, under the Extreme brand, while the cases were produced and ammo assembled back in Idaho. That model made sense when fuel prices were manageable and supply chains weren't a gamble. But once the pandemic scrambled everything from shipping lanes to lead times, Freedom made a decisive move. In the final stretch of 2024, they shut the doors on their Nevada plant, brought their key people to Idaho, and added another 10,000 square feet to their Lewiston headquarters. Now, everything's connected under one roof, from bullet plating to brass annealing, linked by a custom rail system instead of forklifts and diesel-burning semis. Drawing brass, coating projectiles, and loading cartridges all happen in one facility, right on home ground. Freedom makes both factory new rounds and remanufactured ammunition. Their plated Extreme bullets feed reliable 9mm training ammo, and they're also turning out bottleneck rifle cartridges for hunters who demand performance. By eliminating extra logistics, they've freed up cash to invest in better gear, like extended head stamp, tooling for cartridges designed to stretch out past 400 yards. Those should start showing up in early 2025. While some companies chase ESG scores and corporate buzzwords, Freedom keeps its focus where it counts, making as many rounds per minute as possible. And the impact goes beyond Idaho. Their streamlined production helps keep shelves stocked at LAX Ammunition in California, a store that still caters to gun owners navigating some of the country's strictest regulations. By staying consolidated in Idaho, Freedom insulates LAX from the ripple effects of foreign supply issues or bureaucratic delays from across the Atlantic. That's how you lock in domestic availability and pricing that makes sense for American shooters. Bear Creek Arsenal. Now let's talk about the surprise contender, Bear Creek Arsenal. You probably know them for building AR-style rifles and components out of North Carolina at prices that beat the big brands by a mile. But they didn't stop at uppers and barrels. Bear Creek has officially jumped into the ammunition market, and like everything else they do, it's homegrown and built to stretch your dollar. From their Sanford, North Carolina factory, Bear Creek is now producing 5.56 NATO ammo loaded with 55 grain full metal jacket boat tail bullets. The same facility that machines M4 components now houses the presses that load the rounds feeding them. Their quality control crew checks, gas port specs, barrel pressures, and ammo velocity, all within the same workday. If a load is off, it never makes it into a box. This isn't match-grade sniper ammo. They're not trying to win bench rest competitions. This stuff is built for carbine courses, fast-paced USPSA runs, and burning through steel targets on a weekday night. For the cost of 3 high-end boutique boxes, you can walk away with a full case that'll carry you through a rifle class and still leave enough in your wallet for post-range burgers. When panic buying empties the shelves and imports get bottlenecked by environmental regulations or foreign red tape, Bear Creek's steady output becomes more than just affordable. It becomes essential. Every round they load is one less you're relying on from a European boardroom, trying to decide if this year's climate policy affects shipping quotas. Around here, the only green initiative is making sure fired brass ends up in the hands of American shooters. The bigger picture. Sure, it's fair to point out that Capstone's powder is still coming in from Brazil, or that Idaho's grid can get sketchy during wildfire season. But let's not lose sight of the big picture. What matters most is where the dollars go and who calls the shots. When you buy a box of burger projectiles from Capstone, that cash supports a skilled American technician. When First Breach turns recycled Missouri lead into bullets in Maryland, that's local scrap staying stateside. When Freedom Munitions eliminates cross-country trucking with a conveyor system, that's domestic efficiency. And when a Bear Creek rifle shows up on your doorstep, it's ready to be fed with ammo built just down the hall. This kind of tightly looped production isn't just about consistency. It's a buffer against global chaos. Capstone's ballistic experts are winning medals on the weekend. Jordan Lowe, of First Breach, still signs off on primer lots with combat scars on his hands. The folks at Freedom clock out and sling steel along the Snake River. Bear Creek employees are test firing rounds on lunch break and live streaming it to fans. That's something no international conglomerate can fake or copy. Look, the lesson behind the Czech buyout of those iconic American ammo brands isn't that foreign ownership is inherently evil. Heck, Beretta has been making shotguns in Maryland for decades and never shorted American duck hunters just to ship crates to Europe. The real issue is motivation. Capstone thrives when long-range shooters hit their mark. First Breach wins when their primers light flawlessly. Freedom gets ahead by cutting down time and shipping fast. Bear Creek grows by keeping prices low and shelves stocked. So keep your eyes open in the coming year. You'll start seeing Burger and Lapua boxes in sporting goods aisles. You'll notice First Breach head stamps on brass picked up after local matches. Freedom Munitions invoices will stack up at gun counters. Bear Creek bulk packs will move quick at pawn shops and local dealers. When that happens, vote with your wallet. Load a brick of First Breach 9mm into your range bag. Grab some 73 grain 22.3 from Capstone for your next match. Run some Freedom hollow points through your carry pistol. Send a few magazines worth of Bear Creek 5.56 downrange. If they fall short, let them know. If they come through, congrats. You just joined the American Ammo Revival. That's it for this episode. Have you run any of these brands? Would you trust one with your everyday carry or hunting load? Drop your feedback in the comments. Hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe with notifications on. We've got more updates coming your way. Stay squared away and stay American.